As part of Transnet's 300 billion rand infrastructure investment, Transnet and the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research signed an agreement that will focus on research and development. Tumisho Mahanelo spoke to Transnet's Group CEO Brian Molefe to find out more about the strategic partnership.
They have a track record spanning many years, and they are quite capable. They already have technologies that we can already use, that we can apply to our operations, and so it is quite strategic that we should go into a relationship like that with CSIR.
South Africa has embarked on a lot of strategic projects, but how do we ensure that we not only get economic growth from this, but we also achieve social advancement?
Our ability to do things better, safer, to introduce new technologies into our operations means that we can do what we're supposed to do more efficiently, more effectively, and this should lead to economic growth. This should reduce wastage in the broader economy. Our cooperation, for example, on energy could well translate into us being able to contribute to the energy generation for the country.
You mentioned that Transnet would be looking at possibly becoming an independent power producer. Please explain this concept to us.
When a train comes to a standstill, when the brakes of a train are applied, it actually generates electricity. The challenge is to capture that electricity, to get locomotives that can regenerate electricity, but to find a way of capturing and saving that electricity and either selling it back to Eskom or using it for another train that is in the vicinity, or selling it to a town that is not far from the railway. But this needs to be developed. We know that our trains generate electricity when they brake. We have now been able to put in equipment in the trains to measure the electricity. The big challenge is, how do we capture it, where do we save it?
Will you be looking into entering into any other kind of strategic partnerships?
We're looking at cooperating with many of the original equipment manufacturers of locomotives, of port equipment, and so on. They typically have their research and development divisions, so that they improve their equipment all the time. So we are constantly looking at how we can cooperate with other international R&D sections of original equipment manufacturers, or the broader scientific community, universities, and so on.
In the United States, during the 2007 and 2008 financial crisis, the only part of their budget that they increased was their research and development. Should South Africa possibly be looking at doing the same thing, and are we getting enough support from government?
Our questions should focus less on what the government can do for us. Question is, I think as South Africans, the private sector, well, and the government, but the private sector must also come to the party in terms of budgeting for research and development. We, as a parastatal, have taken the decision to establish an R&D division, as well as to budget an amount of money, a substantial amount of money, every year for the next 7 years for research and development. And I think that, and I hope that this that the private sector companies in South Africa also do the same. If we all do that as a country, you'll find that our R&D money goes much further.